What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's been almost a month since I worked on my 97 Grand Caravan, not the Town and Country. But yeah, so been waiting for a day to do this because I didn't have time, and I picked a day that it's storming. So hopefully the sun won't be out, but hopefully we don't get poured on. Right now, we did get good spark plug wires. We did already change the spark plugs. It's a massive undertaking, and should have paid somebody to do it and get it done. So I figured while we're at it, let's go ahead and get spark plug wires, of course, NGKs, and the gasket for the intake manifold upper, because we ripped ours, and now we have this to get us through. Also, in the meantime, we got a flat tire, so we need to change that. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and do this. If it's not gonna storm, we'll be fine. The other thing we have to do is, because I removed the wiper housing and everything tray, there's junk all throughout here. So we gotta either blow it out or vacuum it out, and it's starting to pour. So I guess I should have made a list of what I want to do in order, but now it's pouring. So I guess we're gonna jump into that at another time. We're gonna shut this down. Plus my tools are everywhere and lost and used in other places. So we're gonna have to go ahead and find all the tools that we need. So we'll regroup in a minute, and we'll just find the tools as we go. But yeah, spark plug wires, these are all cool. This is a good set. Ordered them online, eBay, and these came in. They got the nice little heat shields on them, and they're all numbered, so that's pretty cool. I won't have to work as hard to figure that out, because these are numbered, and they're numbered on the spark block. So again, if this is what we needed to fix our problem, we've got it. I think I know the order of I have a screenshot. I'll put it up on the screen somewhere, sometime, of the order of the cylinders. But I think it goes 1, 2, 3 in the front, and then 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the back. I'll pull it up, show you. Now that it stopped raining, we can go ahead and look at the status of the van. We have a flat tire back here, so this needs to be addressed. And obviously, we have crap all over the place. And all this needs cleaned out, blown out, whatever. So let's get the compressor over here and start blowing it around. We have screws and bolts everywhere. Stuff's just all unhooked, and we need to make sure it all goes back where it needs to. This has got to be the cleanest this engine has been in a long time. But I will tell you, if you're going to leave this stuff open, number one, either don't park under a tree, or don't take out your wiper apparatus, because then all the water, all the tree, all the dirt gets in here and just gets all over, down and everywhere. So we're gonna just start putting things back together. I might have to refer to my pictures and such before, because I don't know. I gotta figure out where all this goes. While we have this open, let's go ahead and hit it with throttle body and air intake cleaner, because that's probably the original problem that we had anyway. Come on. Alright. Get her all shiny. Shiny and new. You want that sucker shiny, not dirty. And then what? There's the airflow sensors here somewhere too. Okay. one that's connected to the intake that we have to pull up anyway. So I think we'll work on getting the plug wires in the back and getting the intake gasket replaced, because that ripped. I opened her up right here, and that's where all the dirt came from, just by blowing it in there. I used that whole little can right there, and when you open up the throttle, I got so much dirt out of there. It's amazing. It's kind of scary. I don't think it's clean yet, but it's way cleaner than it was. Anyway, so onto this. I think we're going to switch to a vacuum, because I don't want any of this dirt blowing out, going down to my intakes, because I have a little bit of dirt down there now. Try and suck that out with the vacuum. This is our broken gasket, so we'll pull that out and replace it with the new one. I really want to get that dirt out of there if I can. Maybe I'll take a screwdriver down there and scrape it a little bit. Did vacuum up around there. It's really much better. And try and dig out these holes. All right, as promised, we have firing order 135 across the back, 2, 4, 6. So we're going to put the cables on the back and make sure they're routed correctly. This thing mounts to the back of the intake, and I did get down in here, and there was some actual dirt in this one, and little bitty dirts in the others. So I did vacuum them out. Before I put that down, I will vacuum again, get a good suction, and hopefully pull out anything that's in there. So yeah, the whole reason to get back here was the spark plugs and the wires. So now we're going to install the proper wires on the plugs, which you can't even see them from here, but they're there. We'll find them. See, they're back there somewhere. There's 5. So 3, there's some dirt to get out yet. And then 1 is over here. So 1, 3, 5. Nope, there's 5. So that's 3. 1. Dielectric grease inside the boots on both ends before we install them. Here's our new gasket to lay down over here. It's gonna slide over the bolt studs here, and got all the new plug wires in the back. This thing's gonna bolt to the back of the manifold, and that's a mounting point for the manifold. And then once that's all through, spark plug wires get plugged onto here. These are numbered, so we'll be fine. 1, 3, 5, and these are also numbered, and you can tell where they're coming from. 1, 3, 5. When you go and lay the intake upper in here, make sure you lay it straight down on top of your new gasket. Make sure your gasket holes line up correctly. Make sure it's flipped around right, that you have a clear bolt hole down through there and down through this side. You got to do that. Other than that, you're really good to go. Not have to worry about everything back there lining up and those spark plug wires getting out of the way, so that I can I think those actually go through. They're supposed to go through something. I don't know. Maybe I did it wrong. Anyway, there's like a bracket down there for them, I think. Right there. I guess, I'm not sure that'll work. But anyway, I have a bolt to put on the back. There's a wiring thing. I don't think it's that big a deal, but it keeps it in place. And these wires have to be under that, I guess, because that goes flat up against this. And of course, we have the bracket to mount back there. And all my random bolts and stuff that I unplugged are over here. So time to start sorting through what goes where. I tried to keep it intact, but at this point, your guess is as good as mine. Get all this dirt out of here. We just don't want dirt in this engine. There's 2 of those. These guys look familiar. These guys, there's 3 of these, and I think this one. And then 2 bolts there. So we'll figure it out. There's not that much to put back in. So far, the nuts were easy. They go there. I think those are 12s. I didn't tighten them yet. 10s, those bolts there. Push these down there. I don't know. I can't see back there to know what goes in the back. here we have 3 bolts. I believe there's 3 holes on this. I'm not sure if that's right or not. Actually, this distributor guy has 4 bolts. Huh. 4 bolts on there. What do we got? 3 and 4. Okay, that's probably this. This is a bracket for wires. So we'll look at my previous video. That goes somewhere. And yeah, we're getting along. All this stuff kind of lines up as you go. I think once this gets over there, this boot's really kind of shot. That could be an issue. If that was leaking air, that could be probably another contributing issue to what we were having, the idle problem. So I think that goes in the middle. I will look at my pictures. I think this goes down here, and this one would then line up here. There was a metal pipe that was down there, and I feel like I took one off, and I'm trying to see where it was, because I think I have to put it back on. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was this guy right here. So 2 bolts need to go in this metal, it's like an air pipe. So that lines up. And 2 of these bolts is going to go under there. That's right, I have to do that. Okay, cool. So 2 of these bolts, guessing these 2 maybe, go there. Those are kind of beefy. I don't think that goes there. And that might be the ones that go down there. I'm gonna go back and watch my video so I'm not confusing us. This I think goes on the bracket at the back here, which would mean, do I have 1 left over? Nope, there's 2 bolts. These might actually be for that water or that air pipe down there. All right, we're getting there. And then yeah, we're just gonna have to see what lines up as we go. And again, a lot of these air lines, the vacuum lines, they could be bad, and that can make a bad idle. So yeah, we've got some open stuff back here. This guy here, does he flip around and go on there? I don't know. There's a plug there, that plugs right up into there. That actually might be the mass airflow sensor, which I want to clean while we're at it also. So we'll just keep plugging along here. Okay, these were 1/2 inch, not 12s. These are 10s, those are 10s, those are 10s, and these are 1/2 inch, those bolts guys. And this giant thing is bigger, so let's go see what it is. These go to the igniter or the distributor, whatever you want to call it. These go to the water pump. This is the bracket on the back, 15 millimeter. Those, I think, not sure what these are. I think those go to mount this bracket onto here. When you put your throttle cable back on, this one goes on the inside and the other one goes on the outside. I was wrong. That line down there was the bigger bolts. And they're in now. So we still have these. Those little bolts go in this bracket, and we installed the throttle cables. That means these must go to the mounts on the back, and these go to the distributor. Starting to look way more like a put together engine. And like I said, these must go on the back, and they're 10s. Got most of all this plugged back in. Like I said, gotta keep an eye on this guy. He looks a little rough. Routing things so they're not in the way. My air box goes back in under here and runs down to there, to the actual filter box. I have this plug, which I don't even know where that goes at this point. Those are drains for the upper tract here. Actually, that's probably for that stuff. Yeah, that's for the wipers. Okay, so we're good. I have figured out that that's the map sensor right there, so I can pop that out. There's actually water in it, and that's not good. We might have to replace that, but I'm gonna pull that out and clean it. Maybe we can get it good. And then right below it, right there, looks like I need to put a vacuum line on there, but I'm just not sure where it is. I need to re-put this clamp back on the hose there and figure out where that vacuum line, where that's missing. It might be something that's not here right now. Maybe that's part of the wiper stuff. Over here, we'll put a little dielectric grease on each one of these. As you can see, we have 1 in the center, 3 over there, and 5 on here. So luckily, these are all labeled, and they will come across here and put some dielectric grease, plug them right in. Here we go. Let's pull out our number. What's this? The longest one, number 5. Goes the whole way over here. So 5 is on, give it a good shove. Click, it's in. Number 1 next. It's a little bit longer, fits in here. Give it a good shove. Click, it's on. And the last one here, number 3. Okay, top ones are done. I just watched my video and realized that part right there, that was the line. It wasn't going anywhere. It popped right on that little guy in there. So let's get a little socket and pull off the map sensor. 2 tiny 6mm bolts will do it, and then this pulls straight out. Look how dirty that is. That could seriously be a problem. We might just replace this, but let's clean it up. That stuff's on the outside, but yeah, that needs wiped off and cleaned up. And then it was wet inside, so I don't know that wet and dirt is gonna help us here either. This could easily be replaced. I don't know. Look at all that water that collected in there since it's been unplugged. That could cause problems now if it didn't before, but let's get this cleaned out and wiped up. We have our special mass airflow sensor cleaner. Spray it out till it's clean. All right, well, aside from this bolt that still needs to go in the back of here, right about there, to hold that wiring harness on the back, that's gonna be easy enough. That's a 10. And then I kind of misplaced the giant bolt. There's a 1/2-inch bolt that I'm having trouble getting in the bracket. That bracket that goes up to the back of this. Not real concerned about it being in there, but it probably should, and I feel like I've misplaced it. So I have to kind of push the bracket aside to line up the holes. So that was a little difficult. So I set it aside, and now I need to locate it. So anyway, those 2 things need done yet. Mass airflow sensor is cleaned up. Like I said, will it work? We gotta let this air dry for half an hour or so until we put it back in. But I don't want dirt going down in there. Look how dirty it is in my intake. That upper intake is pretty dirty inside. Can't really do anything about that, I don't think. Otherwise, I think I got everything put back into place. Just need to plug that into the mass airflow sensor when it's done. Put the air box back on here. Put our front spark plug wires in. Remount the alternator. Put it back into place. There's the bracket. I have bolts for that inside the van. And then put the belt back on, because that's just been hanging around. And put the battery in. So let's get these wires changed out probably next. And find that bolt. There's the old. There's the new. Number 2. Dielectric grease on both ends. And our new spark plug wire installed in place. Now, do one at a time. Time for number, let's see, 2, 4. This would be 4. And over here, you just follow it. But there it says number 4. These old spark plug wires are destined for the rubbish bin. I did find my bolt, so now I can work on trying to get that back in. Like I said, I need to push the bracket over a little bit so it lines up with the hole. And then the little bolt goes in the back. And then onto the mounting bracket for the alternator. Mass airflow sensor reinstalled. And I didn't torque it, but I tightened it. Now all we gotta do is pop the line on there. Make sure we don't, let's see. Do you want it over this or under this? Let's go under it. Seems like it'd be less stressed. Now, there we go. Right in there. Lift that hose up a little bit. Clipped and happy. Cool. Now, we're working on the alternator, and I'm realizing that the lower bolt's out and the upper bolt's out. So I probably need to go back and make sure I do this right. The top is not lining up, so I gotta lift it a little bit. And I think the upper bolt is probably this one with the nut on the back. And the lower one might be that guy. I don't know if there's a bolt. I didn't realize I took the bolt out the bottom. Shouldn't have done that. Could have just pivoted and sat there, but I did. So I think that's the lower bolt without a nut on the top. But I got this bracket back on with these 2 bolts, and I guess I'm missing that one. Not even sure what that is. My bolts left are probably for the alternator here. I think this one goes through here without a nut and screws into there. This one I need to tighten. That one was a little rusty to begin with, and it kind of matches perfectly where it's set before. And I guess that means this one's the bottom one. And apparently I took both of them out, so it was pivoting. So now I have this one lined up. I can get the bottom one on, but I think this has a nut on the back. And I don't even know how I'm gonna get the nut on there. I guess I have to reach around the back. Guess I can do that. But wish I would have known that before I put everything back in. But if I have to take this apart again, I will, because we're doing this right. Look, everything's rusty. That's not cool. Anyway, I'm gonna struggle with this and get back with you. The long bolt went in the below down there under the alternator, and it goes the whole way through, and you can even see it pop out on the other side. So we definitely don't have anything screwing in there, so we got to put this guy on. I just have to get my hand down there to make it happen. And then we can put the top screw back in, which I set over here. There's the top screw. And then we can tighten this down, tighten the top screw down. We'll tighten this with the bolt down, and then we can make sure the belt is on correctly around all the pulleys, which there should be. There we go, belt routing. There's the idler. There's the alternator up here, power steering, tensioner, drive off the engine. AC, we do have it. So what is WP? I don't know. All right, so we can get everything put back on. Just remove that bracket to get down here again. No big deal. Grab your 15-inch wrench. That way you can hold the nut on the back. Grab your 15-inch socket. That way you can turn the nut on the front, turn the bolt on the front. And then that's all while it's back there. And then you can swivel it in and put in this bolt into the alternator top. Should line up just fine. Oh yeah, that's right. It bolts into the bracket, so don't lose that. Put the bracket in, put your little bolts back in here. These are, what were they? half inch. They might have been 15s. They're not 15s. I thought I had the, oh yeah. These are half inch. So yeah, your half inch there. And then this guy, that's probably back to 15. Yep, I know we're swapping back and forth for ASE and metric. This one's also 15. So, to get our bracket back in. And then, next thing is the belt. Get everything in there hand tight so you know everything lines up correctly. And then you can torque them down. Otherwise, this might line up perfectly. You know how it is. You make this one solid, then it might not reach across. So, and everything's hand tight. She has wiggle room. She's still doing her brackety job. I hope we don't have to get in here because I don't want to take anything apart again. All right, the bottom is already torqued. Now we're just getting the tops ready. And everything should be good to go. Now, looks like my belt stayed on my pulleys pretty well and didn't really drop off the bottom. So, it goes down around there, up around there. Looks good. And then we have to go under, yep, under the idler right there. And then, let's see, we go over the tensioner and then up over the alternator. So, we'll have to work the belt up over the alternator. Gonna make sure it lines up down there on the crankshaft. See that right about right there. It's gotta come up around that pulley down there. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. That pulley right there. It's gotta go around there and then over this and under that. So, under? No, over the tensioner. You know what I'm saying. Okay, that's the power steering down there in the corner. So just make sure everything lines up. Get it over this guy. And then when you release this pressure, you're gonna put a 15-inch wrench on this pulley right here. This is your tensioner. And you're gonna put that on there. And then torque it down. If you took this off, you should know how to put it back on. But you're just gonna crank this downwards. That's on a spring. And then that's gonna spring back up when your belt's on. I can't really show you while I do it, but follow your router here, your routing chart, and you'll be fine. All right, well, my belt's not great, so I should have put a new one on while I was at it, but next time we'll know. 15 millimeter on that idler pulley. Make sure all your pulleys are lined up correctly. And what I did was put it on top of the alternator and then slid the belt behind the other pulley because you got to pull from this side right there. So as long as the belt's on the inside, then you can just slip it up on top. I did end up using my wrench, which didn't give me enough leverage. I was having trouble getting the belt on, so I ended up sticking my pry bar into the end and using the extra leverage, which worked perfectly. So, dirty stuff aside, next time we can put the battery in and see how she runs, and then we got to put all the wiper stuff back in. So that is all we got to do when we're installing the spark plug wires and the plugs and all that. So next video, we'll put the battery in and see if my original problem was fixed and all the stuff we did. We cleaned out the mass airflow sensor, cleaned out the intake, throttle body, and checked things as we went. So hopefully my hesitation on idle, where it almost felt like it was going to shut down, is fixed with all the things we did. If not, we're digging deeper. See you guys on the next one.